Come on. Hey.
Championship-winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis and insider's perspective. It's time, Martin Houston Show, on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and stream on the Tide 100.9.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. Martin Houston Show fan page on Facebook. And we are live and local. We want to remind you that you can join us by tuning in to the radio dial at 100.9. You can also join us on Martin Houston Live on Facebook and YouTube and at Martin Houston 35. We are ready to get things going. And before we do that, we want to remind you that this is an opportunity for you to rejoice in the day that the Lord has made. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, and be the difference you want to see in the world today. So go out and be the difference. We got Xavier Houston from X and O Sports joining us this morning, so we'll bring him in. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. How's everything well?
Everything is well. Glad to have you on again. You'll be with us once again today and tomorrow, so we'll spread out the conversation. Probably won't have enough time to get to everything we want to get to, but we definitely will try our best to break it down. But even though X is on with us today, the phone lines are still open. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. Taco Casa, quality, taste, value under the biggest cactus in town. So go ahead and make plans to choose them for lunch and or dinner. It's every so often I get a craving for, it's called a taco burger. And so that's what I got yesterday. And of course, I had to chase it down with a big glass of that Taco Casa sweet tea. Sometimes you feel like you should just kind of plug that into a vein and an IV and just sit back and relax. But love myself some Taco Casa sweet tea.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you don't realize that you're privileged to have until you move outside of no Taco Casas down here in Florida, so it's definitely a hometown myth.
Definitely so. But the phone lines are open, so joining in on the conversation as we talk about it. A couple of topics we want to get to for today is Xavier, your takeaways, and I'll add some takeaways from the game from this past Saturday. We've been talking about it all week. One of the things we hadn't talked about is Will Anderson and his production. So we can talk about that as well. Also, got a question I want you to chew on for a little bit before we bring Hank South in the second half of today's program. Is Parody more in line with college football than it's been in past, or what's going on? Because there seems to have been more close games, more upsets. If you start going through the top 10, it seems like there's just a lot more closer games than what we've had, and a couple have already either been taken to the wire or lost, teams that have been favorite. So we'll talk about that as well. And then, of course, I'll let you give out your grade for the Tide. So welcome in. Once again, get those thoughts, comments, chats, and call us at 205-342-9904. Let's get things started. What's a couple of your takeaways from the game? We'll start with one and we'll chew on that and then we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that there hasn't been noise in stadiums for a while. Alabama struggled a little bit with the noise of Swamp, and it affected the game. You know, a lot of plays we were getting the snap in 3 seconds or less on the play clock. You know, the false starts, the just lack of communication I was able to have on offense. I think that was probably the biggest takeaway for me. And, you know, Bryce Young, as a sophomore, this is the first real test he's had as far as that type of environment, even if it was last year standing on the sideline.
Well, you know, and there's a big difference in playing in a stadium that's full, in a stadium that has, you know, 1/3 or less of the people in it, and nothing like Big Mo. You can't always see it. You don't know where it's going to start. You don't know where it comes from. You don't know where it goes, but you definitely know it when it's in the house. Um, and like it, love it, hate it. Alabama played in such a way that they took away Big Mo and fed off of it those first 3 drives Saturday. But then when Florida's defense was able to get, you know, that first stop, they felt a little bit. Second stop. By the third time they stopped Alabama, they felt like we can compete, we could play. And from that point on, Big Mo swung to the Gators, and he didn't come back to our side, even though we were able to have some success at different drives. Big Mo never came to our side, even after stopping them on the 2-point conversion. You still were like, oh my God, we have to get another first down.
Yeah, no, definitely. It affected the game throughout the entire second half, but Alabama also didn't make the plays that could have shifted it back. You know, you got them 3rd and 10 at the 1-yard line. You let them get the play. You get them on 3rd down, but you let them get it to 4th and 2, and they go for it. So they were able to keep the momentum, as you said, through the entire second half of that game, basically because we weren't able to do the little things, couldn't convert. For most people, to me, it was very reminiscent of the way the second half of the Clemson game played out back in 2016, where the offense just couldn't move the ball consistently, and Clemson was able to chip away, instead of points to where, luckily, this time they weren't able to make the play at the end to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And on your X's and O Sports page on Facebook, you had put B Rob. He can win late. What did you see in Brian Robinson, and how does Alabama maximize? I know a lot of people want to see flashy and all of that, but you seem to feel like B Rob can win. So what do you see there?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys want to see the big play. You know, everybody loves the big play, and that's supposed to be Chase McClellan. You know, we saw flashes of that last year, that 80-yard touchdown run against Arkansas, other things like that. So everybody's excited, and that's what they want. You know, and it's kind of funny because, you know, Najee jumped over a lot of people, but he wasn't a very flashy player. But because he just had a little bit more excitement type plays in his game, they've lost that with Brian. Brian's not flashy. He's hard nosed. He runs hard. And if you give a guy like him, you know, 20, 25 carries a game, you know, like you did a Najee, he might not break off big runs and, you know, carries 1 through 17, but late in games, when he's able to hit you and wear you out, he's able to win you games. He's the running back that we had in when it was like, okay, we need to get a first down to put this game on ice. And he was able to do that. And you saw that throughout time. And you've seen the power and the ability to put things away. Even last year, sometimes when he would come in for Najee. So I think we should really appreciate what we have in him because he'll win you games down the stretch in close games.
Yeah,
Defenses late.
he has a little bit of that throwback, but I will say he did make a move in space when he got the ball in space. So maybe it's in space that he needs to operate, and maybe we change the play call a little bit. We got Curtis Lewis calling in. Curtis Lewis, you're in with the Martin Houston Show, and Xavier with X's and O Sports is on with us. What you got for us, man?
Hey, good morning, Mr. Houston.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, I definitely don't disagree about B-Rob there. B-Rob's a good back. But I do disagree that we're not gonna get any big plays like that out of B-Rob. He's just not that kind of back. He's more like he's a workhorse back.
Yeah, and I think that's
that was gonna get you that far.
I think that's what Xavier was saying. I think that's what he was saying. His comment was feeding the ball consistently, and he will win late in games. So and I don't know if we're ever going to get there. I don't know if we're going to. Um, I don't know if he's going to get enough touches for us to see what's best about his game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, but he's not going to get enough touches for that because otherwise we'll lose with B-Rob back to get 25, 30 touches. We're not going to win no. But we do have to have a better running game, though. We have got to run that ball. I mean, it's not from an RPO standpoint, but we have got to go back to just straight call and run plays to give our defense a break. It's got to be complimentary football for us because we don't have that dynamic receiver either this year. At least not out there on the field right now, unless he's sitting on the bench somewhere. But it seems almost like Bill O'Brien is trying to keep up with the soft image of being explosive going down the field, and right now we don't have that. And we may not have that. We may just have guys who are very good at getting us those 10-yard passes, or maybe able to get us that occasional 10 or 15 plus. But that guy who's just going to take that slant pass for 2 yards, next thing you know, he's 80 yards and out the gate. We don't seem to have that right now.
Yeah.
We got to keep our defense from being on the field all day. That's going to be I think our running game could do that, but we have got to get to where we're actually down here running. So we can lengthen out this from the standpoint of our offense staying on the field, but shorten these games. Because otherwise, we can't get in a track meet like we did last year with Ole Miss. We get a track with Ole Miss, and we're going to be we're not going to win that. We're just not going to win a track meet with our offense this year. We've got to be smarter.
I think
that game.
I think you're right. On one front, and I would disagree with you on the other front. I do think we need to do a better job of running the ball, Curtis, and I think we have to be more varied in our run plays. I don't. I think we need to get off and run onto the edge a little bit more, because part of it is we seem to be running so much RPO that you're not going to get what you need in the middle from a drive block standpoint to get enough to be consistent for an entire game. And Xavier, I'll let you respond to that side, and then I'll come back to what I think what I think can happen, because I do think we have the talent in the wide receivers to do what you're talking about. Xavier, I'll let you respond, and then we'll come back.
Well, I think, like you're saying, Curtis, we need to improve the run game, but you're saying Brian isn't the type of guy that we can give 25 to 30 carries to and win. Well, I think that's a little bit of a contradiction because none of the other running backs are producing at the level he is. Jace McClellan averaged 1.9 yards a carry Saturday. Brian averaged over 5. So if you're giving a guy that's averaging over 5 yards a carry the ball 20, 25 times, that's going to get you 100 to 130 yards every game. So that's plenty enough as far as being able to do that. And as far as wide receivers go, we saw Matthew make big plays last year. We've seen Jameson Williams have the ability to take the top off, and maybe a guy like JoJo Earl is more playing time. Who's a little bit more elusive and shifty in small places.
And Curtis, I'll let you respond. I'll let you respond because I need to get the break. Go ahead. Curtis? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Messi played last year because he had a Heisman Trophy candidate on one side, and he had Jalen Waddle, who was supposed to be the Heisman Trophy candidate before he got hurt. So Messi was the kind of the guy who was like the baby nobody thought about looking after because the other two kids were setting fire to your house. So, yeah, he was able to get open, but that's because he had attention taken away from him at various points of the game. Now, as far as B-Rob being able to run 25, 30 times because he picked up 5 yards a clip, that's just not true. That's apples and oranges. Yeah, B-Rob got those yards, but that's because B-Rob got the ball more often. So, yeah, you're going to have a better percentage if you get the ball more often than what we were getting the ball to Chase. Now, I do also think that our best combination punch is going to be Chase and Trey Sanders, because even in the run game, they give us the chance that we can still bust a big play here or there in the run game. Whereas we can't get that with B-Rob. Just like we had B-Rob get off on the corner 1 or 2 times, it was a 5-yard run. That's because he could not run nobody. That's just not his game. But he will bust it up the middle for you. He will bust it off top, and he will get you in the A-gap. That's fine. But that's not going to always give us what we need. And the other part of that is the offensive line.
Yeah.
The defensive line getting these shifts on us. We're not getting the signals called out properly to get the blocking scheme set.
And that's and Curtis, that's what I was gonna say is I think you can win with B-Rob, but I think you can win with B-Rob, but I don't think there's any shame in other than Najee and Derrick Henry, we've always had a 2 to 3 back combination. So that's not a knock necessarily on B-Rob. I mean, Glenn Coffey was in some ways a lot like B-Rob. And then you alternated the back. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing that we need Jace. I'm trying to figure out the Trey Sanders thing, and did he have a setback in practice? He looked disappointed on the sideline. And then the other thing, what you said about Mechie, I think your point on, but I think that's coming because this is what I think we're going to see by the time we play Ole Miss. Saban alluded to it about he plays the best players who put themselves in the position to play, and that's what's finally happened with Billingsley. You add Billingsley and more JoJo Earl into our offense, Curtis, and you add the fact that Jameis Williams and the timing and all of that gets better, and we get the running game more consistent where people are having to play more of that one-on-one press and not zone and different things like that, then I think we get where we can you see what I'm saying? I think what you're talking about, by the time we get to Ole Miss, we'll have more of those piece parts that we had last year in effect. Man, great call. I got to get the break here, but you're welcome to call back anytime, and I'm sure you're gonna chat me up on the other side. So I appreciate you, sir.
I appreciate you, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Hey, coming back on the other side, we're going to get to Robert from Mobile. If you want to get in on the conversation, Taco Casa hotline is open for business. Don't forget, go to alabama1, and check out our refi reduce and our ride promotion where you can get 60 days, no pay, up to as low as a 1.99 meet or beat rate on the interest rate, as well as up to $250 cash back in your pocket, real cash on a refi promotion. Refi, reduce, and ride. That's Alabama One. Apply online at alabama1.org.
Tide 100.9 traffic. From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Pretty quiet on this Thursday morning. If you do see conditions throughout the day, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business. They have an amazing selection of new cars, trucks, SUVs, low finance rates, and extra rebates. You'll save a bundle. I'm Captain Ray.
Indeed helps you hire great people fast. Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This is Renee. Happy to be here. She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Want to learn a new language so it will actually stick? Try Babbel. Practice real-life conversations in the Babbel app.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Get personalized help in Babbel's live online classes.
Classes are limited to 6 people, so everyone can get the help they need.
Review words and phrases with fun games, or dive into the culture with short videos. Whatever your learning style, Babbel gives you the tools you need. Babbel. More ways to learn. Start learning a new language today at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
At Ping's Pre-K, the growing enrollment is no play date. She needs more teachers certified in early childhood development.
Is it nap time yet? Lunch?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A beautiful fall day ahead. The sky sunny, Tuscaloosa high 75. They are very cool tonight, the low at 50. Tomorrow and Saturday, the sky sunny both days. The high tomorrow 80, Saturday's high at 83 degrees. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 53 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Martin, right now you got Robert and Georgia Macon on hold.
Welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show. We got X's and O's sports podcast host Xavier Houston on with us this morning. And we got Robert from Mobile. Robert, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, guys.
How you know?
I heard you guys talking about, the running game and of course need to run more. Yeah, we all agree on that. So like I told you said earlier, a lot of those not running the ball had to do with the RPO. And, him pulling the ball instead of handing it off to the running back, which is the quarterback decision in that case. And it was the wrong read. At least, in hindsight, it looks like it's the wrong read. Had to give it the ball off, our running game would have been a lot higher. And, I hear a lot of people say that, the offense left the defense out on the field too long. But you got to remember, that was just 77 plays. It wasn't like the 99. I know you got to reference the Clemson game, but when the defense was on it for 99 plays. You think that defense would have, for 2017, would have complained about 77? Because No, we would have ran away with that game had our defense only been out there for 77 plays.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I think that because if you always put your offense, defense got out there a little responsible. That's the name of the game. But I guess we gotta look at, okay, well, does this defense only need to be out there for 45 plays? If that's the case, there's a problem there.
Hey, Robert, how many plays did they run on that 99-yard drive? 13?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, it would have been 67 plays if Helms makes that tackle. That the defense was called correctly. They had him where he was supposed to be, and I don't know what he saw, but he jumped that route like it. And I know this is funny, but it looked like he had like he was jumping the route like Langham did in '92, but the receiver was past him, and it was like, did you see the guy went past you? So once again, if you take out that drive, you're talking 67 plays, because I think that was a 13-play drive.
Like your son said, if you get yourself off the field on 3rd and 19, that's you. That's not the offense, because I know even Nick said that he hated the 3-3 and outs, but he's right, the 3-3 and outs were the turning points of the game. That was the turning point.
Yeah.
If he does anything with in the second quarter, it's because of put this team away. So he's right to emphasize it. But that's not the reason. That's not the excuse for the defense.
Right.
Defense shouldn't have been gassed because the offense went 3-3 and outs in the second quarter. How many times we did that in the LSU game when we had to rely on TJ Yell and screen pass?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing, but the defense kept rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about 30 years ago. We're talking about the game from 2017, a few years ago.
Yeah.
And maybe less than 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. So
yeah.
And I wonder, if you think Georgia's complaining about their defense being on the field too long, they kind of performance were fine in some cases.
Good.
That is good offense, yeah. I mean, I guess we need to slow roll on Georgia a little bit. They have Clemson. We all know now Georgia Tech can keep them down. That's quite that impressive that you kept Clemson down.
Yeah.
Same thing. Georgia Tech in the league defense too.
Yeah.
So they haven't played an offense yet. So we got to see what Georgia don't have to play an offense.
Yeah, hey Robert, good points, man, and appreciate your call, and that you bring out a good point on the Clemson thing. Thanks, man, appreciate it. I have to get to George before we get to. Hey, thanks. Call back anytime. All right, George from Macon, you're on the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Martin, just a few comments.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I'm thinking everybody's getting D-Rob. The big difference between this year and last year, so several things. One, there's more traffic this year, the first yard and a half. So you really don't know what, the opportunities to get into space and break one are fewer because the offensive line is not quite gelled yet. Also, not getting more runs. If he were to get 15 to 20 opportunities, he'd probably get in a better rhythm. Another thing is, the defense, like you said, if Helms would have made that tackle, it would have made a huge difference. But also, I was at the Alabama-Florida game in 2011, and that stadium was rocking incredibly loud. I mean, I had a headache for 2 or 3 days. And a couple of my friends that went last week said, George, it was 30 to 40% louder. So when you have a young team playing in that type of environment, communication is almost impossible. And that's when you're young, communication's got to be the most important thing. So you're going to make errors. And also, you don't, when you're young, you don't know how you're going to react in that environment. Now that we've got that behind us, I see us, not being as effective. And also, like you have been stating, in the RPOs or any running game, we got to communicate to get the blocking assignments and that sort of thing. It is much, much more difficult when you got new people in the offensive line, except for Evan Neal, really improved. And what you saw was the results of a Florida team, which was much more talented than what I thought they were going to be. I was surprised at how talented they were, and we're young and we're going to grow. We got the best players, the best coaches. You're going to play some games that are a little bit subpar, and this was one of them, but there was a reason. We played a good team. We're young, and also, we played in a very, very difficult environment. I look for great improvement in the next 2 or 3 games. And, I'm not going to apologize for playing in a close game.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants to win by more points. Heck, I would too. But, it just doesn't work that way. And, also last year, we had a perfect offense, but also as you have stated, they did not have to compete with a rough environment in the stadium. You had experienced players in a stadium where communication was much, much more easy. And, Big Rob's going to be all right. I mean, he's got to have better opportunities. Like I said before, if you look at the games from last year to this year, there wasn't as much traffic the first yard or two. So
Yeah.
Najee could get up a little bit of momentum and also, bust a few moves. And listen, thanks for taking my call, and I really enjoy your show in the morning.
Thanks, George. That's George from Macon laying it down. And hey, could you imagine what it would have been like in Ole Miss if that stadium was full?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I have to go, but I just wanted to throw that out there because you pointed that out, George. Could you imagine what would have happened last year if Ole Miss created that type of momentum against our offense? And they had all that energy. And here's the thing we know. We know Alabama made several mistakes on offense because of the penalties. What we don't know is how many mistakes they made that we don't know as fans because of the noise that led to a wrong route, a missed block, or et cetera, that may have also impacted the game. Thanks, George. Man, I appreciate the call. A lot of good information there that we'll break down coming back. Thank you, sir. All right, come back on the other side. We'll get our recruiting catch up with Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. He's up next.
100.9 traffic. From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Pretty quiet on this Thursday morning. If you do see conditions throughout the day, just give us a call, 215-886-8886. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business. They have an amazing selection of new cars, trucks, SUVs, low finance rates, and extra rebates. You'll save a bundle. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In the mid-90s, I bought a piece of land in Austin with a credit card check and built the very first micro distillery in the history of the state of Texas. I'd never built a still before, so I did some research and designed and built my own pot stills based on Prohibition-era bust photos I found in the library. I didn't know then that this was kind of the start of the American craft distilling movement, right here in Austin, Texas. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free fix finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light. and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. We're ready to get things rolling with our weekly catch-up with our recruiting guru, Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Good morning, Hank. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good morning, Martin. I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. We have Xavier on with X's and O's Sports, and we're going to be bringing Pat in just a second. Give us a quick rundown on any do we need to go check on the guys in Thompson and make sure all those defensive 4 or 5 stars are still okay? They gave up 9 points last week.
Yeah, no. To the lowly Tuscaloosa Huskies.
They beat the number 4 team in the state 49-9. You know what's been funny, Hank? As we talk about this Thompson team, everybody's talking about this great defense. But what no one's talked about is last week was like their lowest output at like 49. You know, I'm like, I think they're scoring a lot of points on offense too. They're averaging like 56 points a game or something crazy. So I'm like, guys, y'all, that's a pretty good offense too. When the margin of victory is over 50.
Yeah, absolutely. And they played a lot. You know, that was kind of the question mark coming in. You know, they had their solid defense, all the guys they had back,
Right?
And, bringing in Traquan Fagans, but you know, what were they going to do on offense? Obviously, they have Connor Hill, the UNC quarterback, but you know, the pieces around them to his supporting cast. But I mean, they've just been showing out week after week. So you know, they've been pretty fun to watch so far, and you know, it's been especially as far as covering Bama commits with Jeremiah Alexander. I mean, last week he just went off. I mean, he had I think 8 tackles, like 3 sacks. He was all over the field getting after the quarterback. So.
Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting with the Martin Houston Show.
Good morning, fellas. Good morning, Hank. Hank, got a question. Damani Jackson, with Hilton being canned, and it seems to me their coaching search is not what it should be. Does that increase our potential with Damani Jackson? Because I think he's really a key to victories in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it does help. You know, he came out right after the news broke that Clay Helton was let go and said he was solid. He was sticking with USC. I think one thing that really helps USC in the short term is that they named Dante Williams the interim head coach, who's his recruiter of the defensive backs coach. So I think that helps in the short term in terms of kind of keeping it together right now. Kind of let it play out, see who they hire as their head coach, because obviously they have a close relationship. But even before Clay Helton was let go, Damani Jackson was flirting with Alabama. He was flirting with Oregon. Not Oregon. I'm sorry, Michigan. Those are the two schools that have really been giving him a lot to think about. He was in Tuscaloosa over the summer for a few days on an unofficial visit. He's coming back for the LSU game on an official visit. So add into the mix Clay Helton getting fired. That just like I said, I think that increased chances that Bama could really make a move here and kind of gain some momentum for him later in the fall. So I think he's taking it slow. He's not making any he's not rushing himself into a decision. I think he wants to see what USC is going to do. Obviously, whoever they hire could have a big impact on whether he stays in that class or not. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. It's kind of wait and see right now, but everything you could want to happen in this recruitment as a Bama fan is happening. He's still talking to the staff. He's coming on the visit in a couple months for the LSU game. So it's kind of wait and see where things kind of trend.
Yeah, actually, one more quick question. Walter Nolan. I understand Ty Simpson is really putting the pressure on Walter Nolan, and can we pick up enough steam to get him in this class?
I don't see why not. He put out that top three last month, but I wouldn't even pay any attention to the top three. I think it was A&M, Georgia, Tennessee. He came out the next day, said he was wide open. Any school had a chance. He was, so he had the top three, but the two schools to watch that weren't included in the top three. But it seems like every week there's a new team trending for Walter Nolan. Whether it be A&M, Tennessee, Florida, Michigan, Bama. So I think he's kind of really enjoying this, and I think Bama has good as a shot as anybody at this point.
Good feeling. And Martin, I'm really, really happy that you got your young man back in your house. Hey, and y'all have a blessed day, and we can't wait for the X Factor. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. Actually, Pat, that was part of the reason I reached back out to him because you had mentioned it a while back. So I reached back out to him, see if he was willing to get up and at him with us, and he did. So glad to have Xavier back on. We used to do X Factor with Xavier, so we may bring that back as part of what we do, but. Anyway, he's back with us on Thursdays and Fridays. But Hank, Xavier, did you say you had a question for Hank that you wanted to ask?
Yeah, Hank, Alabama, of course, for the last decade or so, has been known to get all these 5-stars and high 4-star recruits to come in and play. But there's always been in every class 1 or 2 3-stars or unknown guys that Alabama has come in and made big contributions. Who would that be for this 2022 class?
And I think when you look down at their commitment list, and the rankings change often, whether it be the composite, but a guy like the Kobe Prentice, I think he could arguably be. It was the way he's been playing is like top 100, top 50 level so far.
Wow.
This season. I texted one of my coworkers, and that's why I don't do the rankings, so I don't have that much pull to do that. But I texted one of my coworkers a few weeks ago. The game he had, I think he had 3 touchdown catches, and each of them was like this spectacular catch and run. Where he was just making guys miss. It was like almost like a video game. I was like, this kid might be a 5-star. Like he's incredible. And it kind of just shows, Bama did their eval on him this summer at camp. He had just committed to Maryland. Nobody really knew much about him, but Bama just obviously loved him and wanted him in their class. Got him to flip from Maryland, and so he's really showing why Bama was so high on him this summer at camp, in recruiting him over other, highly ranked receiver recruits. So Trevor Francis, I think, is really good 3 stars. I know Amari Niblack, when he committed to Bama, he was a 3-star. He's a composite 4 now, but still outside the top 247. I think he's another guy, 6'4", 220. Just an incredible athlete. He's been having a really good senior season as well. So, but if I was picking a 3-star, I'd say Kobe Francis.
Wow. We're speaking with Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Hank, I know Bama has another recruiting weekend, only the second one in the last year and some change. A 5-star cornerback, A.J. Harris, sets a commitment date, going to be in town. Talk a little bit about him and whether or not Bama has any other people to watch that's coming in this weekend.
Yeah, A.J. Harris, the 2023 5-star quarterback from Phoenix City. He is a guy Bama offered. He came to visit in June, and it seemed like Bama was in it, but not really as much maybe as some others, like Clemson, to be like Georgia. Then he came back on kind of a quiet visit for the Champions Cookout at the end of July, and after that visit, things really kind of started to trend more positive for Alabama, in my opinion. And I talked to him about it. He said that in June, he kind of left campus, didn't really know where he stood for Alabama. He didn't know who was a tough target, or didn't know as much. Then after the July visit, he said he got a great feeling from the staff. Feels like they really want him, and so things kind of turned around. I think so. I think Bama's right there. I think Bama, Clemson, Georgia are the 3 schools to watch. He announced this week he's making his decision in January. He had, I think, put out top 7. So still a handful of schools in play, but I think Clemson, Bama, Georgia, those are the 3 to really watch and keep an eye on. So we'll see as things go. But yeah, he'll be back on campus this weekend for a game. So obviously he'll get some one-on-one time with the coaching staff. Hopefully keep that feeling that he has about Bama going. Strong as they kind of track more into the fall. But beyond A.J. Harris, Southern Miss, though, I don't think it's going to be a huge visitor turnout. We'll see bigger visitors weekends for Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU. But, it's a big name. You can expect a bunch of the commits back. Tyson's supposed to be in town, Jeremiah Alexander. Those guys will be out there recruiting. One big name, a 5-star from Washington, the state of Washington. He's making the trip all the way out. 2023 5-star defensive lineman Jaden Blaine. So that's a big visit. He's bringing out his parents. He was on campus in June with his travel squad. For I think he camped, and he's been a guy that's been heavily recruited in the class of 2023. So kind of a big deal, I guess, paying your way for a trip out from Washington for a weekend game. So, but yeah, beyond that, we'll see some other guys, other commits. I'm sure some other in-state targets will be on campus. And then, so, that's the guys we're tracking this weekend. Then next weekend, obviously, we'll see some more official visits start to come up.
Well, that's Hank South, 247 Sports. Hank, I've heard there's this really dynamic coach over at Northridge coaching running backs, and he has like 2 of the best in the state. You need to check him out, man. I coach running backs at Northridge, so I'm doing a shameless plug on the air. But no, we do have some guys. We got some guys over there. We're sitting at 5-0, and we got some guys that I think that can get into some conversation. A couple this year and a couple of other guys. Got a couple offensive linemen, a couple running backs that are juniors, and then we got a sophomore that's probably 5-star talent. So I had to make sure you get some film on those guys and check them out. So all right, man. Well, I appreciate you, Hank. You got anything else as we close out?
No, just kind of we're just hanging in there waiting for bigger weekends and seeing the recruiting momentum start to kind of turn up. But still a good time to join BamaOnline.com.
Yes.
$1 for your first month. So good time to sign up.
Tell them where the best follow in recruiting is.
If you want to follow me on Twitter at HankSouth247, definitely, try to keep y'all updated.
All right, that's at Hank South 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Coming back on the other side, we'll wrap things up with the Alabama One Insurance 2-minute warning. Thanks, Hank. Catch up with you next week.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks on a really good looking Thursday morning. Traffic is steady on McFarland eastbound coming into Northport and on Lurleen into downtown. If you see other conditions, give us a call. Townsend Nissan has an amazing selection of new cars, trucks, SUVs. They really need your trade. Go see them. You'll save a bundle. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Thursday morning. Public schools will remain closed in Marion for the remainder of the week. That's until the city's water has been cleared as safe to drink by the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. Clogged filters caused the main city water pump to malfunction, leaving the city without water Monday afternoon into Tuesday. The pump has been repaired, but coloration and sediment is making the water unsafe to drink, according to Perry County engineer DeAndre Kimbrough. Agent investigators are expected to test the water later today. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more news. I'm Don Hartley.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Carving. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Carving can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curve series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Carving. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Carving, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Carving can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Carving at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Carving LLC.
Indeed helps you hire great people fast. Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com. Townsquare not only can help you find more local customers online, they'll also help you grow your business to a new level. With premium website services that get you new leads every day and no contracts to sign, there's no better time to join. Not only that, Townsquare also has a dedicated marketing specialist who will be with you every step of the way, making changes that will benefit you and especially your business. It's fast, easy, and you can cancel your subscription at any time. So hurry to mylocalcustomers.com and get your $500 in free advertising today.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Alabama One Insurance 2-minute warning with Xavier Houston of X's and O Sports, joining us every Thursday and Friday. Xavier, tell them where they can find what you got going on, man.
Yes, you can look up X's and O Sports on all platforms, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and also follow my podcast, X and O Sports. So that's where you can find me.
All right, that's awesome. One of the things we mentioned earlier, you had talked about we could win with B-Rob. Another statement you had, and we'll carry this over to tomorrow, so we'll continue the conversation. But just a couple other takeaways from the game, and like I said, we'll pick back up tomorrow. One of your other takeaways was you said Owens is good, but he's out of position. Move him back inside and give Latham or George a chance. Do we see that happen this weekend?
I would love to see that happen this weekend, and I don't know if that's moving Owens in as a starting center and kicking Dalcourt out, or or what they're going to do with that. But I think he's good and he's solid, but he's just not very good in space on the edge. And that seems to be his problem with these smaller, quicker outside linebackers and defensive ends.
Yeah.
So I would like to see George or Latham this weekend.
Which one you think we're going to see that?
I want to. I'm not sure. And
Yeah.
honestly, we saw when his helmet popped off, it was George that came in. So I want to see George. I want to see Latham. You know, Alabama's never had a problem starting a young tackle before, so why not?
And I'm going to ask one other question, then I'm gonna leave a hanging Chad in honor of the Florida Gators for tomorrow. But Bryce needs to use his legs more as more than a play extender and run the ball. When you say that, I mean, how many times you think Bryce Young should be running the ball?
I'm not saying he needs to run in a ton, but on some of those plays when he is extending it, he needs to turn those into runs. We saw when he threw it to Laku for the incompletion in the end zone. I feel like he had the athleticism to make it in on a run. So.
Yeah, he probably needs 5-6 runs a game, to be effective. Because if he starts threatening with the run, it's just going to make him a better passer. And I'll leave this to you: is Will Anderson officially his term is Terminator? And did he show just how good he was last Saturday? That's just a hanging Chad out there. We'll talk about Will Anderson, the beast, tomorrow. We'll talk more about takeaways. We'll talk about parity in college football. We'll talk about the keys to victory for Alabama versus Southern Miss. And we'll break it all down right here on the Martin Houston Show. That's Xavier Houston with XO Sports. I'm Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show. That's Joe Gaither pressing all the right buttons. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, viewers, chatters, and all of those who are part of the Tide 109 family and the Martin Houston Show family. Roll Tide, and remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Roll Tide, and have a blessed day.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Have a great day.
Tide 100.